Welcome to the math review. So this question says, the width of a rectangular field is 3/5 of a kilometer. If the area of the field is 2/5 of a square kilometer, what is the length of the field? So let's dive back into the question and make some notes of anything that's really important. First, we know that the shape of the field is rectangular, so we'll circle rectangular. We also know that this 3/5 of a kilometer is the width of that field. We also know that the area of the field is 2/5 of a square kilometer. And since we're dealing with area, we should make sure that we know the area formula. And which area formula are we going to use? Well, since we're talking about a rectangular field, we're going to use the formula for area of a rectangle, which is area is equal to length times width. Remember, that little dot just means multiplication. And finally, I like to underline the question being asked. And that is, what is the length of the field? Now, whenever we're dealing with something that involves shapes, I like to actually draw a shape out and label it. Since we're dealing with a rectangular field, let's draw a rectangle. And we know the width is 3/5 of a kilometer. And the area, which is everything shaded inside, is equal to 2/5 of a square kilometer, which can also be written like this. And what we're looking for is the length of the field. So normally, in order to find the area, we would use the area formula. So let's start with that. Area equals length times width. Normally we have the length and width, but this time we don't. What we do have is the area. So let's plug in the value for area, which is 2/5 of a square kilometer, equals the length, which we don't know, so I'll just keep the letter L there, times the width. And the width is 3/5 of a kilometer. So we'll put that where W goes. So in order to figure out what the length is, what we need to do is find some value that when we multiply it by 3/5, it gives us 2/5. And the best way to do that is by dividing in order to get L by itself. So we're going to divide 3/5 by 3/5, and we'll do the same exact thing to the other side of the equation. So it's 2/5 divided by, that's what this line means, 3/5. These 3/5 will cancel out because 3/5 divided by 3/5 equals 1. Remember, anything divided by itself is 1. So now we've got 2/5 divided by 3/5. It might look a little funky here because it's written as a complex fraction, which is just a fraction on top of another fraction, but it might look more doable if we do it like this. So because we're dividing with fractions, we set up a KCF table, which stands for keep, change, flip. And we'll fill it with exactly what it has here. 2/5 is on top, so that'll be our first value, and we'll put it here. We're dividing, so we'll put division here. And our second value is 3/5, so we'll put it here. And then we'll follow the rule. 2/5 is going to get kept, so we're going to keep it the same and write it right down here. Next, we're going to change the division to multiplication. So we'll write multiplication right here. And finally, we'll flip 3 over 5. So the top becomes the bottom, and the bottom becomes the top. So 3 over 5 will now become 5 over 3. And then we can multiply straight across. 2 times 5 is 10. And 5 times 3 is 15. So we've got 10 over 15. But we can't leave our answer like this because it's not in simplest form. We have to figure out how to reduce it as much as possible. So the biggest number that can divide 10 and 15 is 5. So we've got 10 divided by 5 and 15 divided by 5. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. And 15 divided by 5 equals 3. Making our final answer 2 over 3. Also read as 2/3. So what that means is, for this rectangle, the length is equal to 2/3 of a kilometer. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Math Review.